Boss Rush Jam. The theme for this jam is Spin Spin. Now let's make the assets for the game.
Shaders in Blender are kind of complicated and there are a lot of shaders to deal with, so I used a free pixel art add-on to generate the pixel art textures, and I just had to tweak around with the color ramp and got it working. So for this add-on, I'll be giving the link to it in the description for you guys to check it out. So here's the main menu I made. The game name is Spin Rush, and these gears were made in Blender as well as the animation. So now for the game, I've made an enemy. When we render it out, it looks like this, which is pretty nice. Okay, I'm using a free add-on, a pixel art rendering add-on, of which I'll give the link to it in the description. Alright, and the other one I made is the playing field where the player will, fight the enemies. So this is what it looks like when we render it out, which looks pretty nice. Okay, and it's also animated as well. Okay, I used a Voronoi texture and a simple toon shader for this. Okay, so you have this Voronoi texture with the diffuse BSDF because we are using toon shader, so we need diffuse BSDF for toon shader. Okay, and we mix them and we get this. All right, next up is the player. Okay, so for this jam I have decided that since the theme of the jam is spin, right, so it has to be something spinning. So I've decided that the player will be a totem. Okay, for those of you who do not know what a totem is, it's basically like just a top. Okay, I'm sure you know about Beyblade and stuff like that. Okay, so it's similar to that, but yeah, and it's animated as well. Okay, so I'm gonna be rendering out these animations you know in a PNG and then exporting them into the game engine. So yeah, let's go ahead and import these and see what. Okay, so this is what I have so far. So after importing all the assets that I made, we have the battlefield right here. Then we have the player, which is totem, and we have the enemy. And now I'm gonna go ahead and implement a script to, you know, make it so the totem attacks the player when it sees the player. Okay, and that's gonna be done through raycasting. And these are the two assets I made in Blender, the water gear and the fire gear. So I have decided to have attribute type attacks. Okay, so fire attacks and water attacks. Even the player will also have those kind of attacks, but different sprites. So I'm gonna go ahead and build a script for the minion. Okay, so I have implemented the raycast. Okay, so for the direction, I have this triangle which will keep track of the direction and it will rotate. Alright, so right now we have this going on. The enemy will project a green ray, and when it hits the player, when it okay, let me just show you. Yeah, I'm gonna add boundaries to it so that the player doesn't go off the map. But yeah, this is the raycast function I made, and it took a while to figure things out, but here it is. Right now, I'm gonna add projectiles to both the enemy as well as the player. Alright, so here's what I have so far. If I hit the mouse button, it will launch an attack on the direction, and then if the enemy detects me, I'll be hit by a gear attack. Now for testing purposes, I have made the minion list 0 so that it spawns only 1 million. And when I do that, and when I defeat this minion here, like so, the portal will appear, which will take me to the next scene, which will be the boss. Right, so here's the next thing I added. It's the boss. So it has a variety of animations like the idle animation, the attack animation, and the beam animation, which is totally not a dun reference. And here's the boss in the game. So I also added a beam animation as well for it to attack. I haven't made the script yet, but I'm gonna do it. Right, so it's an attack beam, and I'm gonna do another attack animation as well. So okay, so the player was moving quite slowly, so I went ahead and added a sprint animation so that it can move fast when you press spacebar. And I've added random movement to the boss, and I'm gonna add some collision because he's kind of wobbling out of the screen. Okay, so I have made it so that it will attack two different types of attacks, a beam attack and a gear attack. And if we resume, when it's gonna do the gear attack, it's gonna do this pose. I'm gonna animate the part later on for the gear attack, and then hopefully the beam also arises. Here we go, the beam attack. Right, those are the. So I have added this health bar system, which will show the player and the boss's health. Okay, in the game view, and also the water and fire attack icons to tell the user that or the player that when you press 1 in the keyboard it will switch to water attack, and when you press 2 it will switch to fire attack. Right, and now if I hit play, I'm gonna alright, so here's the boss and I'm attacking it and its health is decreasing. Right, and then it attacks, and if the boss's attack hits me, I'll lose my health. Alright. Yeah, I haven't added a cooldown system for the attack, but yeah. If possible, I will add it, but if not, then yeah, I will leave it like that. And now, after loading a new scene, this will be the second boss. So I have added yet another boss to the game, and this guy will simply move around you and will attack you with spear attacks. So something like this, and you'll take damage. But you can actually counter it with your slash attack to nullify that attack. Alright? And then use that same attack to actually deal damage to the boss. Right? So this will be the last boss I make for this game. And yeah. And also you might notice I've added these two new icons to tell the player that you can press the 1 to switch to water attack and 2 to switch to fire attack. Though I haven't actually added anything, significant about what these two attacks will do. Alright, but yeah, I thought it would be helpful for, switching between attacks, although they deal the same amount of damage to the opponent. But yeah, so that's about it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add a tutorial or a guide menu for this game. Right, using beatbox I made this music. As such, I've used it for making other music. And if I play the game now, here it is. Right now the options doesn't do anything. Okay, I'm not even planning to add it anymore. but here it is, the tutorial, and to sprint speed, press spacebar and to attack, press left click, alright? Then press continue to play the game. And then you move on to the boss level. The game is pretty easy actually. The difficulty isn't that hard. And you lose health every time you get hit by the attack. And that's about it. I hope you guys will enjoy this game, and that's it for my mission.